In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to use this Gold 4 account to show you exactly how to find a champion pool that you're going to love playing and that you're going to be able to climb with. Whether you're looking to change it up because you're bored, whether your current champions, you're just not winning on them, or whether you want to adapt to the new meta, I'm going to show you the exact strategy in under 10 minutes, what I use with my clients, what I use with myself, and what every other player who's looking to build a new champion pool or to find new champs that they want to have fun with and they want to climb with does in order to get that perfect champion pool. Now, before we get into this profile review, if you're interested in getting your profile review just like this, please check out the links in the description below. Let's get into the video. And we're going to kick this profile review off with solving the biggest problem that's holding you back, which you've stated, which is you don't have a champ that you like to play. And so this is a really common problem I see with a lot of players, and it's the reason why so many players have really big champion pools, but it's also the reason why a lot of players can't climb, because the meta for climbing, if you would let me describe it like that, is to have a small champion pool because you can develop mastery on a champion quicker, therefore learn it at a faster level, play it at a higher level, and then carry more games, win more games, and climb higher. However, you need to solve the problem that you've got first, which is you don't have a champ that you like to play. So we're going to figure out how to find a champ. Now, I'm not going to just be able to say, you know, this champion, you're definitely going to enjoy playing them. But what I'm going to do is actually describe how I would go about finding a champ I want to play, also how I would recommend my clients to find a champ that they want to play, and then what to do to like learn that champion and figure out if you actually like to play them. So one thing is liking them on paper, like, oh yeah, Malphite's a cool champion, he has some cool abilities, and then you go into the game and you play him and you're like, oh, this is so boring, one-dimensional, all I do is press R, and then all of a sudden you're in like crowds in real life and you're thinking, can I press Malphite R? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so we're going to go through and figure it out. So let's, for example, say, looking at your history, you've been playing Fizz. Fizz is your most played champion. Fizz is a mid laner. So let's just go with the fact that, okay, you like mid laner, therefore we'll use mid lane as an example to find a champion. Now, what I like to do is I like to go to a site such as like u.gg. There's plenty of other sites. Like if you have one that's preferred that shows tier lists, perfect. I wouldn't use like YouTube tier lists because like generally YouTubers tier lists, they don't actually base it off like win rate and play rate. If you know someone who does, great. But if you don't, use a site like this that has the data for the most recent patch, and you can even sort it by your rank. So let's say, for example, you know, your goal rank, you're currently gold 4, your goal rank is up to gold 2, therefore we need to know mid laners that are good in the meta. Now, the two things I always say for players to look for when trying new champions and for playing them in ranked and, you know, using those champions to climb is you've got to have fun on them and you've got to be good at them. Now, when you're finding a new champ to play, you're not necessarily going to be good at them. So what we need to focus on is what you're going to have fun with. So what I would do is I would go through this list and I would look at the top 15. So rank 1 to 15 in terms of win rate. And I would go through and I would literally write down Sion, don't like him. Annie, too simple. Aurelion Sol, he's kind of cool. He really scales and he's got some really good wave clear. Cool. I'm going to put him on my list. And I'm going to take a list of like, I would say like 3 champs. So I'm going to pick Aurelion Sol, Fizz, and then I'm also going to pick Cassiopeia because I really like her poison and her ult. It's really cool. Cool. I've got my 3 champs now. Now I need to play those champs and figure out, do I like them? Okay, so how would I go about that? Now, the best way to do it when you've got an account like your Lord Red Panda, this is your main account, right? This is the account that you want to climb to the highest rank, and therefore we don't want to be testing. We don't want to be playing new champs on this account in ranked solo queue. We can play them in flex, we can play them in normal games, we can play them in clash, but in solo queue ranked, we do not want to be playing these new champs that we're trying to learn so that we can, you know, decide if we want to play them and have fun on them. So what I would recommend is getting a second account. Now, I'm assuming you already have a second account, given you have played like 4 seasons now. If you don't, I'd recommend getting a second account, either hand leveling it or just buying an unranked Smurf. They're super easy to buy. Just like do your research. I'm not going to recommend a site, but just do your research and you'll find a legit site pretty easily. Buy an account off that, make sure it's in your region, make sure the email isn't verified so you can add your own email to it, so therefore you get control of the account. But I would get that second account and then I'd go, okay, cool. For the next month or the next 2 weeks, I am going to be playing those 3 champions that I said earlier. It was Aurelion Sol, Fizz, and Cassiopeia. And I might go about going one at a time. So Fizz, I'm going to play week 1, Cassio week 2, and Aurelion Sol week 3. Or maybe, in a day, I'm going to play 1 game of Fizz, 1 game of Cas, 1 game of Aurelion Sol. And the idea here is just to experiment, test, learn, and see if you're having fun on that champion, and seeing if you feel like you could win games with this champion, or carry, or, climb to that goal rank of gold 2. And that's as simple as that. All you have to do is rinse and repeat that process with any champion in the game, in any role, until you find 1, 2, 3 maximum champions you like to play. Because when we're trying to climb in League of Legends, we do not want to be playing more than 3 champions. The fastest way to climb in League of Legends statistically is to one-trick. No matter what rank you are, one-tricking is always the best way to climb, as long as you enjoy the champion and you're good at them, so you have at least a 55% win rate on them over 20 games. The second most effective way is to 2-trick, so, you get a bit bored of just one-tricking, so you have a second champ that you're as good or maybe just a little bit worse on, and cool, you split your games, whether it's 80-20, 50-50 between those 2 champs. And the third one is 3-tricking for players who get really bored, and this allows you to have a really good champion pool diversity. So you might play Scion mid, Fizz mid, and then your third pick is a late game hyperscale like Aurelion Sol. So you got 3 completely different champions there, and that's your champion pool, and that satisfies that urge to try new things, to play a bit differently, to not be doing the same thing again. And you've basically got your strategy there to find a champion that you love to play. And then once you do that, you jump back onto your main here and you start playing those champions, whether it's 1 champion, whether it's 3. But what I recommend is just take your time with that process. Don't rush it. Don't feel like you have to get onto this account and start climbing again, because there's really no rush in your goal from going from gold 4 to gold 2 and eventually to plat. Just take your time, and when you're ready, you're ready. Because I'd much rather you take a little bit more time and you actually find a champion or champions that you really enjoy playing and you're good at, and then you restart your rank climb here, rather than rushing into it, spending a week trying to find a new champion and you're not really sure you like them, and then in a month's time you're like, oh, I'm bored of this champ, and you do the whole same process again. You've just wasted a bit of time. The other thing I could recommend is, if you're wanting to climb this account in the background while learning those new champs, I would recommend to you just playing Fizz on this account, and maybe your Nautilus. Your Nautilus and Fizz seem really, really good. So you could just keep playing these on your main account when you feel like playing on your main. And when you feel like finding that new champion that you want to play, that you want to enjoy, that you want to have fun on, go to that second account and play those champions in the kind of same strategy that I said. And therefore, you've got this account which you can continue climbing, while on the side, you're learning those new champs. So you're not risking this account's MMR, its win rate, or its ability to climb to your goal ranks. Now, the last thing I want to say before I wrap up this profile review is the biggest thing you're going to have to focus on, no matter what champion you play, is your laning phase. Looking at your mid lane laning phase, you're averaging around 200 gold deficit. On your Fizz, it is plus 200, which is really good. But this just kind of suggests that, when you are playing new champions, you're going to suffer on them. You're probably not going to play laning phase very well. You might not win many games, and you're going to be learning. And this laning phase, these stats here, just takes me back to that strategy of why having that second account is so important, but also why, you could keep playing your Fizz, and you could probably climb that account to gold 2 or plat just by playing Fizz. If you have the determination, and if you find Fizz fun enough to play, you could do exactly that, Kensington. Now, please, Kensington, once you watch this, if you've got any questions, or if you want to discuss, what do you do to build a plan? So I want to go from gold 4 to gold 2, but then I want to go to plat and eventually diamond. How do I build a plan? What do I need to do? What coaching or potential coaching do I need to get? How do I get better at this game with coaching or just with a plan? Please, once you've watched this, reach out to me. We can book a call. I can basically go through everything I recommend for a player like you and your goals based on the champs you want to play or the champs you want to learn, and answer any other questions you have, whether about this profile view or that strategy I just discussed about choosing a new champion that you have fun on, or anything else, climbing or League of Legends in general. I'm happy to answer it on that call. So as always, cheers, good luck on the Rift, Kensington, and I hope to talk to you once you've watched this.